Naming is everywhere in the code. We use names for our variables, functions, classes, packages, literally everywhere around the program. If we are using naming so much, isn't it important to name it right? Hey everyone, my name is Ram and welcome to Sprint Master. As a programmer, we often deal with the code written by somebody either to review it, debug it, or to enhance the current functionality. Have you ever been in a situation where you want to make a one-liner change, and in order to make that one-liner change, you have to go through a lot of struggle to understand the code around it? I don't know about you, but I have been in such a situation, and trust me, it isn't fun at all. Though such a situation can't be completely avoided, we can make it a little bit less frustrating if you use a better naming convention for your variables, functions, or classes. When you are naming your variables, functions, or classes in your program, use a name which reveals the intention why that variable or a function or a class exists to begin with. For example, if you want to store the total number of seconds in a minute in some kind of a variable, instead of naming it with some random variable like x or y, just try naming it with number of seconds in a minute. At a first look, you might not see the power of why it is important, but for example, let us say after a month you want to reread that code again. When you are reading that, at a first look you might not understand what that x or y variable represent. But if you name it as number of seconds in a minute, wherever that variable it is in, you'll immediately remember like, okay, this exactly represents the 60 seconds of that minute. Let's further understand why it is important to have a right names in your program by looking at this following example. Let's take a couple of seconds to read this code. Now if I ask you what this function is exactly doing, how many of you have an answer right away? Are the operations of this function complicated? Nope. Then why are we struggling to understand what this function is exactly doing? This is because we use the random variables a, b, c, etc. throughout our function, and it is hard to follow like what exactly a represents, b represents in this function. Now the same example when named right would look something like this. Now you see that, right? We are just trying to find the nth number of the Fibonacci sequence. Did we change any operations in this function? No. We just changed the naming convention from random variables a, b, c to actually the ones which represents what we are doing in this function. Every time you name a variable, function, or a class, it should answer the big question like why that class exists, why that function exists, and what does the variables in it represent. I know it takes a little bit of extra effort to name your variables or functions right, but at the end, you will thank yourself for doing that. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you do, please click the like button below and share this video with your friends. And also don't forget to subscribe to Sprint Master channel to get updates of our new videos. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions on this video, make sure you mention them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. This is Ram signing off.